You're listening to the Start Me Up Business Programme with Roisin Ni Chleirigh. You can text us on 086 353 7782. You're very welcome back to Start Me Up Business Programme here on Community Radio Kilkenny City. On the line now, we have Orlagh Deegan from Choice Training and Consultancy. And Orlagh Deegan is a food safety, health and safety training expert, consultant, licensed food safety trainer with the Food Safety Professional Association, National Hygiene Partnership and Environmental Health Association of Ireland. And Orlagh is a qualified occupational health and safety advisor. And Orlagh works with all industries and has been extremely busy over the last months assisting businesses in reopening to safety. Orlagh, welcome back to the Start Me Up Business Programme.
Hi Roisin, I'm glad to be back. How are you?
I'm good. Orlagh, we're in the second week of phase 2 and the return to work retail and shopping centres have just opened, and we've just been speaking to our local manager of a shopping centre in Market Cross here in Kilkenny, and as you say, the shopping centres are all opening today. The Market Cross shopping centre is an outdoor shopping centre, so they were able to open up a lot earlier because they are all outside on the floors. So can you tell us about the shopping centres then that are maybe indoor? What are the procedures for indoor shopping centres?
Perfect. Yeah, so I suppose all of the retailers were allowed to open at the start of phase 2 as long as they were kind of on the main street or had it like an external door to the outside like that shopping centre there. But the indoor shopping centres were not allowed to open. Now, certain shops were allowed to open within them, such as the supermarkets and then later on phone shops because they were deemed an essential service. But from this morning, all shopping centres are allowed to open, but obviously they have to put quite a lot of precautions in place, you know, because people miss their favourite shops and crowds are coming in. So I've seen some pictures and some videos from a few different shopping centres around the country, and I think the biggest challenge to them is queues, because it's not just like a queue for one shop like we saw on the news with people queuing for big department stores in Dublin city centre, but it's going to have, you know, you might have 20 different queues for 20 different shops in the shopping centre. So a lot of them are laid out where they have like lanes, so queue here if you want shop X and queue here if you want shop Y. So it's going to be a little bit tricky, I think, and a little bit confusing for people not knowing which queue to stand in for which shop, and then obviously they still have to have their social distancing of 2 metres in all of the queues, and it's going to be a challenge. When they go into a shop then, for example in a clothing shop, a lot of them are implementing one-way systems. You are not allowed to try on clothes. The fitting rooms are closed. They're asking people not to handle the clothes unless they intend to buy, but I can imagine that's difficult because, you know, people like to feel things and they kind of rummage through the clothes to get sizes. So it'll be a bit of a challenge with people not being able to try them on and then bring them home. If they don't fit, then they're going to have to bring them back, and that's another nightmare to deal with all the returns that will be coming back in. So it will be a challenge, but hopefully the general public adhere to the measures that are put in place, so it'll be a pleasant experience. But I don't think it's for everybody. I know myself, I think I'll take a few more weeks before I venture back into a clothing shop.
Yes, and I think that is one of the key messages too, is if everybody shops local, they won't have to, and they buy clothes and take them home, try them on, that they can actually, the boutique or the shop that they bought the garments from is only local. So it's just stay local, shop local.
I think so, and I think it's so important to support local businesses. A lot of smaller local businesses are struggling, so to be allowed to reopen is great, but they have a lot of overheads that they've still had over the 3 months that they were closed. So support local shops, support local jobs, support the local economy. I think that's really, really important that people will do that. And I suppose the government today are pushing for the general public when they're in busy places like public transport and like shopping centres. They want us to wear face covering. They want us to wear not medical masks, but face covering to make the experience safer for everybody, but it's not mandatory. So there's quite a low uptake on people wearing face covering. I know in the UK, in England, anyway. In England, face covering is now compulsory if you're going to a shopping centre or a busy area. But here it's still optional. So I don't know if that will change. It might if numbers start going back up. But I think it's really trying to urge people to wear face covering when they're going to busy places, because my mask protects you from me and your mask protects me from you. And if everyone was wearing a mask, it would be much safer experience for everybody. But when it's not mandatory, it's very hard to enforce it, obviously, when you're kind of relying on people to do the right thing.
And what advice would you have then, Orlagh, for people who have, due to medical conditions, they cannot wear face masks, or face coverings rather?
I suppose somebody who does have maybe an underlying health condition or maybe breathing difficulties where they can't wear a face covering, it may be too early for them to be back out in busy places, and maybe still trying to avoid the, busy shopping centres, and, if they can shop online still, because, there's a huge boom in online shopping over the last few months. But it's probably not advisable for somebody with underlying health conditions to put themselves at risk. Obviously, you can't stop somebody. People need to live their lives. They need to get out and about. But I would say maybe for those people, just to, if they could hold back a little longer, just to see how the next few weeks go.
Common sense prevails.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what we always say that in health and safety, but sometimes common sense goes out the window.
Do your own risk
your
assessment.
Your favourite shop opens back up. Yeah.
And do your own risk assessment.
Absolutely, yeah. Everybody needs to look at, is the day a shop opens, there's going to be a crowd going. Even leave it a week when people are excited. There's people saw the queues on the news for pennies, and that wasn't just the city centre, that was around the country. And then there was a new big sports shop, the Catalan, it's up beside IKEA, opened in Dublin, and the same, big queues. Now I have to say, from what I've seen from the video footage, they managed people very well in store, so they are doing the best thing. But I think if you had underlying health conditions, or if you didn't feel, very confident about going, wait a week or two, it'll all die down again. People are just getting excited because they haven't been in their favourite shops in a while. And
so we've talked about the sort of adapting to premises to implement social distancing. PPE is still very important and mandatory, but it's not here yet, is it?
No, it's not. And I suppose I don't think people should be going around wearing gloves, because that would prevent them from sanitising their hands when they're entering premises. But I do think if you're going into a busy premises or into a crowded area, definitely the recommendation is to wear a mask. But until it's mandatory, we won't kind of see it happening across the board. And there's such a range of masks now. I know if you look back to the late March, early April, you couldn't buy masks, but a lot of people are making their own face coverings at home. There's a lot of shops selling homemade ones, reusable ones. You can throw them in the washing machine. So if you had a few of them, you can throw them in the washing machine, because they are expensive if you're using disposable ones and you're out and about a lot and you have to change them regularly. So having the kind of face coverings that you can pop in the washing machine are not a bad idea.
Yes, and we've got three local ladies here in Kilkenny who are making masks. That is Michelle Tracy from Michelle Tracy Millinery and Jeannie Frampton from Callan. And we also have Imelda Hoare, who's a manager. She's actually a fashion designer by trade, and she's the manager of Hobbs in Goods in Kilkenny. So we've got lots of people locally who can actually make washable ones.
And it's brilliant that local businesses can kind of diversify into, making them. And I know lots of people are donating them to charity, but it's great to see people, it's kind of like new businesses starting up and the entrepreneurial thing. Okay, there's a need for masks now, so I'll make nice ones and, make them kind of designer. And then, people will need a range of masks to go with a range of outfits, which is a good thing as well. So, it's a new industry, I suppose.
Instead of having matching shoes and handbags, we're going to have matching face coverings.
Absolutely, definitely, yeah.
So tell us, we're in phase 2. What industries will be opening up next? We've only got about a minute left, but we can talk more about that maybe in detail next week. But who will be the next industries and organisations opening up next?
So phase 3 is starting on the 29th of June, and this is where we will see a return to restaurants where we can actually sit in. So they're open at the moment doing takeaway, a lot of them, but by the 29th we should be able to sit in and have a meal. Hotels are reopening, so there's going to be lots more industry opening up, and there is phase 4 then, of course, for the 20th of July, but there are rumours that might be brought forward as well, but we can't say anything at the moment. It's only might, but maybe next week when we chat there might be more news on other industries that may be opening up sooner as well.
Well, Orlagh, we've run out of time, but
No
it's
problem.
great to speak to you, but we'll be speaking to you next week, and if there's any listeners out there that would like to get a question to Orlagh, please do get in touch. Orlagh Deegan from Choice Training and Consultancy, thank you so much indeed.
Thank you, Roisin.
And that is all from the Start Me Up Business programme for this week. Thank you so much for listening.